105.5 WDHA here on a Sunday morning on Jersey Magazine. With Memorial Day coming up, my guest is someone who has served in not one but two branches of the United States military. John Caporaso, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Sir, John and I have known each other, what, you were 9 or 10, I think?
Yeah.
Through baseball in town here in Madison. John, what led you, first of all, to join the military? Where did that decision come from?
Oh, man. So my family has a very long history of being in the military. My Uncle Jerry was in World War II. My Uncle Jimmy was in World War II. My grandfather on my dad's side was in World War II. My grandfather on my mom's side was in the Marines. My Uncle Bill was a commando in Korea. So our family has a very long history of being in the military. So I kind of wanted to do the same thing and take the same path that a lot of my family members did.
So first step for you is the Marines. Why the Marine Corps?
I just wanted to be the best. As simple as that. I wanted to be in the best branch that I possibly could and get the best training that I possibly could. So, my grandfather talked me into it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
like you, I come from a family of military veterans. Father, a World War II veteran. Both grandfathers served in World War I, although my dad's father was in the Navy. He never really spoke about it. And his records, unfortunately, got burned in that fire some years ago. I think that was in St. Louis.
Yep.
And my mom's dad, he had served in the infantry in World War I. He passed long before I was born, so I never even had a chance to ask him any questions. I noticed on his discharge papers that that he was slightly wounded. Slightly wounded, John, was gassed and shrapnel wounds. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that's slightly wounded. But he actually tried to re-enlist for World War II, and they said, sir, you're a little too old. So, and then by the time it got to me, I had so many different medical deferments. The Army doesn't want to spend too much money on me. What did you learn during your time in the Marine Corps, John?
Oh, man.
Well,
Discipline.
let me rephrase the question. What did you learn about yourself in the Marine Corps?
That I learned a lot. Discipline. I definitely learned that I could become more disciplined, that I enjoy structure, that I enjoy a little bit of pain every now and then.
How difficult was Marine Corps boot camp?
It was pretty difficult. A lot of it was more mental than physical for me. I wasn't used to getting yelled at every single day of my life. So for me, that was more of the culture shock. But it was awesome I think the best thing about it was just meeting people from all over the country. I think that was the coolest thing for me.
I've had a couple of veterans who have told me that the experience of meeting people from different parts of the country, people from different racial and religious backgrounds, that in fact, oftentimes someone who joins the military, it's the first time they've ever encountered someone from whatever group. And it definitely is eye-opening. No doubt about it.
Oh yeah, 100%. There were people who were definitely culture shocked when they got there, but they learn very quickly what they're supposed to do.
Who had the harder time adapting, guys in your unit to you or you to them?
Probably them to me.
John Caporaso is my guest this morning. Memorial Day coming up soon here. 105.5 WDHA on the morning show. And as we mentioned, John has served in not one but two branches of the military. You went from the Marine Reserve to the Army. How did that come about, and why the Army?
So I was getting a little older, and my knees were starting to hurt. My back was starting to hurt. And I knew that the Army had more opportunities for schools. The Marine Corps, their training is unbelievable, but their budget is very, very significantly low. So a lot of schools and stuff like that are like a dime a dozen there. But I knew in the Army that I could go to air assault, jump school, all these schools that I really wanted to go to. So I kind of just made the switch.
Wait, bad knees and a bad back, and you want to go to jump school?
Yep. Well, jump school is out now. I had back surgery in 2019. So
where are some of the more interesting places that you've served in, places you've been deployed to?
Africa was definitely an eye opener.
In what way?
I'm a big proponent of traveling because you get to see the world, you get to see a lot of different places, but the biggest thing is you get to see how people are treated in their own countries. And I think that right now there's a lot of how would I say that it's hard living in America. And in some cases I do understand, but for the most part, I would like to see them take a trip outside of the country somewhere to see other people live and be grateful for where they are right now.
Yeah. Hashtag first world problem. I think you see from time to time on social media. And, without getting overtly political, people talk all the time, especially on social media, where things just get ratcheted up about how divided the country is. And I don't know, John, that it's really any different from any other time in the country where we've had a lot of things going on. I think back to Vietnam, and I missed the draft, although I did have to register, but I came of age, in high school while all that was going on. And I'm watching different demonstrations all over the country. And you're thinking, boy, we're coming apart at the seams. And we managed to survive that. And I think, anything that's going on today with a dose of perspective, as you say, going other places, seeing just what we have here in this country definitely gives you a sense of perspective, maybe a renewed sense of perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
One of the things I know that you were assigned to was January 6th. And, we talk about political things that have happened in this country. And that certainly was a breaking point for many people. And certainly one of those, where were you when this happened moments. I know where you were. What was that like for you?
I'm not a big political guy at all. I don't really care who's in office as long as they do a good job. So for me, it was kind of worrisome because I've always been trained to defend the country from foreign invaders. So sitting on the White House or sitting at the Capitol and waiting for Americans to charge you was absolutely insane to me. For me, if something happened, I wasn't going to do anything because that's not my job to take down Americans from, I don't know, their choice to riot. I don't even know how else to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people were ready to do whatever it took to keep people away. So it was a 50-50 fight, I guess.
Right. And I'm sure that would have been a tough decision for your commanding officers as well.
100%. And we all had to talk about it. And I think we were all on the same page. But luckily nothing happened. So we're good.
John Caporaso, my guest this morning here at 105.5 WDHA, has served in both the Marine Corps Reserves and now in the U.S. Army. What's your commitment to the Army these days, John?
So I just finished my 3-year contract. And then last year, or 2 years ago, right before I had back surgery, I signed another 6. So I am here until 2027. Right? Yeah, 2020.
Okay.
And then I'll have 3 years left, and then I'll do 20, and I am finito.
So no career Army for you, right?
Nope, no, I'll do. So right now I have 13 years. After this contract, I'll have 17, and then I'll do the other 3 years, and then that'll be 20 for me, and I am done.
One of the things I also wanted to talk to you about is the career path that you have now. You are a registered respiratory therapist. Tell our listeners how that came about.
Um, so I always enjoyed the human body, how it worked. And one of my friends was a registered nurse. And he kept telling me how hard the job was, but it was very, very, how do I say that? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Very rewarding. And I kind of leaned toward respiratory because my grandfather got lung cancer and passed away. So I wanted to do something in that field. So I went to school, passed my licensing exam for New Jersey, and then became a registered therapist in Newark. And it 100% is one of the most rewarding jobs you can do when someone comes in who is gone and you can magically bring them back to life. I think it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
We had someone on WDHA recently from St. Clair's Health System in Denville, and I asked her about the rewarding experience. And she didn't have that experience of bringing someone back to life, but she talked about the ability to make a difference in someone's life on a daily basis. And I mean, that what you just described is like that experience on steroids. That's just amazing. But I've found that, and we just, of course, celebrated National Nurses Week, which is why we had her on. And I have found that, I think, especially through COVID, as crazy as all of that has been for us, I think I know it's been hard on the medical profession in general, but I think the rewards that people who serve in the medical profession, the rewards that they've gotten have been just astounding. And you just kind of alluded to that with your experiences.
Yeah. I am very thankful that I had my military experience, because for me, I can kind of disassociate myself from situations where a lot of people get stuck in that situation, and then they will bring it home and it will kind of eat them alive, which I think happened to a lot of nurses and doctors and respiratory therapists. So for me, it was a little easier. But yeah, COVID was an absolute nightmare, especially in Newark. Newark got hit extremely, extremely hard. But there were also miracle cases, like absolute miracle cases. We had a girl who was in her teens, got COVID. She went into respiratory failure. Her lungs failed. Her heart started to fail. So they have this thing called ECMO, which is a machine that pretty much takes the blood out of your body, puts it into a machine, it oxygenates it, and then on the other side puts it back in. And with people that had COVID, ECMO was kind of like the last resort. But this girl was on ECMO for like a month and then mysteriously turned it around. She got off ECMO. She got off the ventilator. She had a tracheostomy that was in her neck that they removed because she didn't need it. And she walked out of the hospital.
That's
after
amazing.
7-8 months of being there.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is
So
just incredible.
yeah, it was unbelievable. So there, even though I know the news likes to make it as it was so horrible, but there were some miracle stories in there.
Well, John, I want to thank you for your time this morning here on the Jersey Magazine, both as a veteran and as someone who's in the medical industry now as a registered respiratory therapist. You've had some amazing stories. I'm proud of you. I've known you a long time. We go back to your little league days, and then you switched over to football. I'm still proud of you in spite of that. But congratulations and continued success.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.